I started my podcast, Mindset Mastery, almost a year and a half ago, and my workflow has gone through massive changes, where it was once taking hours to produce one episode to now producing 4 episodes across 2 days out of the month. The difference is in having a solid system with as many things automated as possible. In this video, I want to share with you the things that I wish I had known and set up right from the very start that would have saved so much time and stress and made those early days a whole lot easier. We're going to look at the systems I use to find, organize, and schedule guests, and how I have literally saved myself hours of time and lots of headaches, and how you can also get your podcast pre-production running like clockwork. Create a scheduling system. When I first started running my podcast, I would individually message or email each guest and manually line up a time that would work for both of us. There was so much back and forth and time wasted, especially if we were in different time zones. Then I discovered Calendly.com and it blew my mind. I'd never had a need for a booking system like this before, and I honestly could not live without it now. I record my interviews using Zoom, which you can easily integrate with Calendly, so when your guests book a time for the interview, you both receive an automated link to the Zoom meeting room at that specified time. It also compensates for the different time zones and only shows the guest available times in their own time zone, removing all that back and forth. This was the first big workflow shift that already made running the show so much easier. But that's not the end of the story. It still took me a long time to refine my system into something that was actually realistic. I would allow guests to book in any day of the week that I was in my office, and I would make myself available for that. I thought that would be a good strategy because that would give my guests the most flexibility and would give me more opportunity to get more interviews recorded. You may be able to see it turned out to be a terrible idea because it disrupted my workflow on any given day of the week, and ironically made me less productive and more behind schedule because I would take that chunk of the day to record the interview and then quite often put off editing it because I had to get back to the other work that I needed to do for my business. Batching tasks is always so much more effective than doing random bits and pieces here and there. I would do this with my other work, but somehow it took me a while to figure out that this would also be beneficial for my podcast. But the reason I was doing this was because I wanted it to be easy for my guests, and I wasn't thinking at all about how realistic it would be for me. Once I decided that it's my show and I'm allowed to make the rules when I do my recordings, my new stress-free scheduling system was born. My workflow now is every second Tuesday, I have the whole day open for guests to book in for interviews with a maximum of 4 on each day. Using Calendly to do this, I have a buffer of an hour between each interview where I can take a break, and I often start editing the episode I've just recorded. By taking control of my own schedule, it has made creating the show so much more enjoyable because I have a solid system in place. And so far, not one person that has booked in for an interview using the system has asked for an alternative day. And if someone did, that wouldn't be a big deal because I know the majority of my recordings will always take place on those allotted days of the month. Booking your guests. So, you've set up your basic scheduling tool with Calendly. Let's go a bit deeper and talk about actually booking guests for your show. 2 awesome platforms that I've come across for both booking guests and also finding other shows to appear on are Matchmaker.fm and Podbooker.com. These platforms allow you to set up a profile to find guests for your show, as well as a guest profile if that's something you'd like to do. You can search for particular categories to find guests that are a good fit for you and your show, and have a look at their profiles and other social media links or previous podcast appearances and reach out to them about potentially being a guest. Not all of my guests come from these platforms, but it is a great place to get started and meet other people in the podcasting community. When someone has agreed to come on my show, I will send them the link to my Calendly booking page, and pretty much everything is automated from there. With the Pro version of Calendly, you can add automatic customized messages when your guests book an interview, as well as reminders and follow-up messages after they've appeared on your show. Making the message personal gives a much warmer experience for your guest, but it's still all automated so you don't have to spend more time manually sending these emails yourself. The other cool thing is the ability to personalize your booking form. When a guest chooses a time slot for an interview, I also get them to fill out their basic details, some social media links, a short bio, and 1 to 3 talking points that they'd like to cover. I also ask them to send me a headshot that I can use for promotional posts once the show goes live. This makes it so much easier for both me and my guest and eliminates another series of back and forth emails. As soon as they've booked in for an interview, I get an email with the information about the time slot they've chosen, as well as all the details they've entered into the Calendly form, and they get a confirmation email with my personal welcome message and Zoom link for the interview. Massive game changer. Once I have all this information, I paste it into a basic text document and start the research component. Another change to my workflow that has saved me so much time in editing is writing my intro and outro ahead of time and saying it live during the recording instead of after the episode is over. When I first started producing the show, I would jump into the interview and then write and record my intro and outro afterwards. I did this so I could accurately preface what the episode would be about. But this extra step in the editing process slowed me down and often made me procrastinate getting the edit started at all. By writing my intro and saying it live in the recording, that's an extra step I don't have to worry about in post-production. Podcasting is such a fun and rewarding space to be in, both for business and personally, and I hope this video helps you set yourself up for success right from the word go. If you'd like to see more videos about podcasting, please drop us a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment with what you'd like to see next. Check out these videos for more tips, and I wish you the very best of luck on your podcasting journey. I will see you over in the next video.